Hello, and welcome back to the Cooper Villa channel. I'm Scott Cooper, and I'm here with Noah Fisher to discuss Aston Villa versus Manchester City. The game's just finished. What an absolute roller coaster it was. A brilliant performance, maybe the best I've ever seen from a Villa side. 1-0. We're up into third. 14 wins in a row. We broke the record. A clean sheet. It's crazy, Noah. And we'll be bringing you that and much more after this. Okay, so it was Wednesday night football under the floodlights of Villa Park. It was a top four clash between Aston Villa and European champions Manchester City. We haven't beaten them in 10 years, but we have now. This is a live reaction pretty much. The game just finished a couple of minutes ago, and I'm here with Noah. And Noah, what can you say? Unbelievable. From the first minute to the last, we were just so good. We only let them have two shots in the whole match. What a performance.
I'm absolutely speechless, Scott. I can't quite believe it. It's a full team performance. I know we can name standout players, which I know we'll go into detail, but every single player that came on from Duran and Ramsey in the last couple of minutes, everyone put in a shift for this. And Emery masterclass again. I mean, they nullified. Well, I guess Diego Carlos nullified their only really attacking threat, except for two chances early in the first half. And
good saves from Emery.
Unbelievable saves.
But Leon Bailey is the hero, really. He's going to get the headlines. It was his goal late in the second half that made the difference. But he was great all match. He was having shots. He was creating havoc. We were getting the ball out to him on that right-hand side, and he was just going at the City defense. McGinn also, huge performance. He just kept picking up like lovely little pockets of space. Rico Lewis was having an absolute nightmare on him. Kamara, Douglas Luiz, Diego Carlos, Pau Torres, they were all great. But Leon Bailey, let's talk about his performance, because he is really just stepping up now, isn't he?
That is by far the best performance he's done in a Villa shirt. I can't quite think of anything that comes close to that. The only one that probably comes close is Manchester City at home last year in that 1-1 draw, where he was absolutely outstanding as well. But he's just taken his game to another level. He understands his role at Aston Villa now, and get that contract signed. I reckon. I know there was rumours of him signing another contract. Get it signed, because the first years were really frustrating. I think everyone kind of agree with that. But he is now showing why we paid the money for him.
Absolutely. And at halftime we were dominant. But it was 0-0, and you always have that feeling that City are going to click into gear and, create some chances and score a goal. But, I always felt like as the game went on and on that we had the deeper bench. We could make the changes that could change the game. And yes, Unai left it late, but it just shows like what a stacked squad we've got now, that we can bring on Diaby, we can bring on Jacob Ramsey, Duran and Moreno, as you mentioned. It was, and I just think, like you said, everyone did their job, and Unai especially, just top class again.
I mean, I was thinking when I was watching the game, like, who the hell do you sub off?
Yeah.
Like, no one actually deserved to be subbed off in that game. Everyone wanted to play, I guess, the full 90 minutes, except for Leon Bailey. He was cooked. He just absolutely run out of legs, and fair enough, he had run his absolute heart out.
Yeah, we got a couple of kicks as well.
Yeah, late in the game. But I'll tell you what, I thought the game was actually well officiated by the referee. I actually thought he did a very good job, seeming how high intense, I guess you could say it was. I mean, two teams going head to head in a quite intense battle. And I mean, I'm still quite speechless of how we've done it, and I'm just blown away, Scott. And as you said, the deeper of the squads, you don't say that very often against Man City. I know they have a couple of people out, Rodri being the main one. And look, I know John Stones can be very versatile, but he's no Rodri. That's for sure.
No, of course. And that's, going to be a talking point in the media. I'm sure they were all going to say, "Oh, Villa won, but they didn't have Rodri," using it as some sort of excuse. But we were so dominant today that I can't really say that if he was there, that it would have been a different result. Just early on, Leon Bailey had a chance on his right foot, probably could have done better. There was the goal that was disallowed by Douglas Luiz, where Luca Digne unfortunately just couldn't keep the ball in, but it was a lovely play again on that left-hand side. And, we didn't sit back at all here. We were in that first half, especially, we were pressing them. We were winning the ball high up in attacking areas, and we were creating chances. And just that final ball, that final decision wasn't quite there, maybe in the first hour or so. But, in terms of, a perfect display, the only thing that was missing was that goal. How did you feel after the first half?
I mean, I was going to say that we had the most shots at Manchester City in the first half in the Pep Guardiola era. We had 13 shots in the first half. And
Incredible.
I think Brighton had 11 maybe this season or last season.
Yep.
But 13 shots at a Pep Guardiola team does not happen.
No.
It doesn't happen in the Premier League era since he's been there. It's just, we were just so on. And I've got to give credit to the fans.
Oh,
The
that was so
atmosphere
loud.
was electric. It was unbelievable. And look, I know I got a little bit quiet at the start of our second half. But then it just built and built. It's a colossal 14 home wins, Scott.
14 in a row.
14 home wins. It's a record. Emery's done something special. We've actually now got the most wins in a calendar year. He's got the most wins as a manager, overtaking Brian Little with 22 wins. It's just so positive to talk about Aston Villa right now, and I absolutely love it.
I know the atmosphere was just absolutely deafening. We had the fireworks before the match. We had the whole 10 just in full voice throughout the match. I could hear every single song clearly through my TV, and it just felt like one of those games where everyone was on the edge of their seat for the whole 90 minutes. And everyone was fully behind this team. Even if we had not won that game, I think they would have got a huge ovation at the end of the match. But we did win the game. The football gods were on our side. And yes, Bailey gets a bit lucky with his finish, takes a deflection off Ruben Diaz, but where he fully deserves that, and the team fully deserved it, because I think a draw, it would have been really unjust for Villa. They deserve to get the 3 points today, 100%. I just don't know what to say. There is no negatives.
I can't think of one. I really can't. And another positive, I've actually never seen Leon Bailey use his right foot so much. And that's one thing we've been saying for so long, is he has to get better at his weak foot. And I know he scored the goal off the deflection, but with his right foot. He took 3 or 4 shots on his right foot, because everyone knows. He
crossed with his right foot a couple of times.
But everyone knows he goes to his left, and he has to get better at going to his right, and that's something he's done. And it was a breathtaking display.
And his fitness this season obviously has been a lot better. He hasn't had niggly injuries like he has for most of his career, even before he was at Villa. He always was, sort of struggled to play a full season. And I think the fact that he's been involved in every match, if it's, starting like today or off the bench, has really helped him. And, Emery has given him nothing but confidence, and he's just repaying the manager now. It's fantastic. Look, I want to talk about the defense as well, because, you're going up against maybe the best player in the world in Erling Haaland, certainly the most informed, striker in the Premier League. And apart from those 2 early chances, Thiago Carlos just out-muscled him. I've never seen anyone do that to Haaland, not for a very long time. Just the way he backed himself. He said, I'm stronger than you. I'm going to get my body in the right position, and you're not going to get the ball.
I'm not going to lie. When I saw the team, the back line unchanged, I was a little bit surprised. I've gone, oh, no.
Yep.
Obviously Carlos' confidence might have taken a bit of a dip after the giveaway goal against Bournemouth, but credit where credit's due, he was outstanding. And look, I know City have a few players out. Like, you take out the class of Kevin De Bruyne's delivery, that obviously does take it out, but they just didn't get any chances to get the ball to him. Every
Hmm.
time it did, we just had Torres was always there to help cover. Consta was doing such a good job at Carlos. Again, probably his best performance in the Villa shirt by
Yeah.
far.
Yeah, I'd agree with that for 100%. And of course, Jack Grealish missed the game with suspension. He's probably glad he did, because he would have been absolutely roasted, I reckon, in those last 10 minutes by the fans. Just singing, all kinds of songs to him, giving him abuse. But maybe he's watching at home on TV, thinking, maybe it's time to come back home.
No,
Who knows? But at the moment, we don't need him, because
we
we are
don't. We
absolutely
don't.
flying. As you said, 14 wins in a row. And Arsenal on Sunday at home, or Saturday night,
Saturday,
sorry,
yeah.
at home now. And boy, if we could somehow win that game, like, are we in a title race?
I know we were speaking about the other podcast, and I
I
don't want to get too
know.
ahead of ourselves. I do like flying under the radar. It's like when we were finally getting the top half last year, and they put the top
Mm,
8 or something on Sky Sports Social. They hate showing Villa, but I tell you what, it's hard not to show Villa when we're third. You can't do
mm.
the top 2, can you? Like it's ridiculous. Do I want to say we're in a title race? I I don't. It's so hard. There's so many good teams, and you got to do it for so consistently.
Yep.
And come back to me at the end of January after the big period. I tell you that. Come back to me then, because the FA Cup, I'd love to go on an FA Cup run. I'd want us to win the Conference League.
Hmm.
It's just there's so many things, and yeah, and teams are going to get strengthened. Teams are going to get players back.
Yeah.
Um, just keep flying under the radar, and Emery ball's Emery ball. That's all I want to say.
That's it. Like you. I'm just enjoying what I'm seeing from this team, the character, the fight, the calmness on the ball, the way we're playing, the tactics implemented by Unai Emery. We're just so together. The crowd's right behind the team. And, I'm just enjoying the ride. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. And, like you said, a trophy would be great. The Conference League, a top 5, if that's what Champions League is this year, would be probably even better. Like, in some ways, I mean, I'd love. If you had to make me pick between a trophy and Champions League right now, it's a tough one.
It's so
It's
tough.
it's tough, but why not both? If we could do both, I would. If you offered me that right now, I would snap your hand off. But we are in there. We're ahead of the league of the European champions and treble winners right now. So
Enjoy it. That's what I'm going to
enjoy
say to
it.
Villa fans. Enjoy it, because we've had a lot of crap for a long time.
Oh, so
Like,
long. I mean,
like
the last time we beat Man City at
10
at
years ago.
at home, it was I looked at that team. I was watching the highlights
And the
early
team
on
wasn't that
today.
good. You compare the
Yeah, we
teams,
had Hamidi and Feynman and Kozak and
it
these guys.
was a weird team, And give those guys credit, because Vyman was a great servant for Aston Villa, and I
yeah,
think he actually never wanted to leave the club, but of course everyone goes different ways, and
it was a different time.
it wasn't the owners. You got to get credit to the owners as well, because when Gerrard got sacked, it could have gone 2 ways. It really could have, and it was a big turning point that they could have gone and got someone else, but they identified
Mm.
their man in Emery, and they paid his release cost from Villarreal, and they must have sold him the dream project, because it's coming true at the moment.
And like we said, Champions League now is a real opportunity. And if we went from Championship to Champions League in 5 years, I mean, that is almost unheard of. I can't
Yeah,
think of any other club
no.
doing that. And correct us in the comments if it has happened, but I can't think of it happening. And we
Did
were,
Leicester might have?
yeah, possibly Leicester. Okay, that's a good shout.
Yeah,
But
that's the only one I can think of.
and they of course won the league, but that was a miracle. People talk about that as the biggest miracle in football, and this seems to be. I don't know. It just seems to be a bit different in that
It
we're not
does.
we're not here. We're not just sort of riding the wave. We actually have a very good squad. And there's been talk in the paper about Douglas Luiz going to Arsenal, and this is like a big possibility, but I can't see it. Why would you want to leave this
He
team?
came out and spoke about it. He
Mm,
said, "Oh, it's flattering to hear the rumors, but he's just focused on Aston Villa and everything like that." And
yeah.
I'll tell you what, if his goal had gone in late in the
Oh,
game, the roof on the whole end would be off.
yeah. He was
It's
so
done.
unlucky.
I
And
know.
McGinn had a great chance in the second half too. Probably should have done better on his right foot, but the way he turned inside, the confidence, the way we were keeping the ball, like Torres, Kamara, Tillemans, these guys are just so silky and so um so sort of just concentrating on the process. They're so they know the game plan. They're not flustered, and we're going to keep the ball. We're going to play this possession football. And yes, City might have had 1 or 2% more possession than us, but it's Man City.
Yeah.
They outpossess everyone.
Yeah.
But it was pretty much 50-50 or 51% to City. But that just shows how well we played and how well we are playing. It's incredible.
And do you want to compare something, Scott? Our midfield four of Kamara, Tielemans, Louise, and McGinn cost Aston Villa £17.5 million.
It's insane, and
it's remarkable.
And I heard Dean Smith's interview earlier on in the week where he talked about he's so proud to see his core of players playing this well.
Yeah,
and I love that just from. A lot of managers would be kind of bitter with that kind of thing, like saying, "Oh, these are my players." Like why is Unai getting so much, so much praise in the media? But he's a Villa fan. Obviously, it's a bit different, and he knows that Unai has done an amazing job with these players and improved them. And I am just so glad for everyone. This ownership has really not taken a step wrong. Yeah, okay, Steven Gerrard was a bad period.
Well, I think that was Perslow's decision. I really do. I think that comes down to Perslow because he had the keys at that stage and he kind of decided it. But the owners picked Emery. I'm almost certain they picked Emery.
Yeah. And, Steven Gerrard, for all his faults, he brought in Boubacar Kamara. He brought in Luca Digne. And these guys are good players. So, at least I thank him for that, even though the rest of it was a bit toxic and a bit shit at times. So, but, it was just, we had to go through that sort of growing period to go from a side that, was just above relegation to a side now that's like seriously in the top 4 race. And unbelievable. Arsenal next, Noah. I mean, if we win that, like, what will Villa Twitter be like?
Mayhem. So I tell you what,
I'm rattled still. I'm just on such a high. It's one thing in a good way.
I want to touch on is people were gutted with how we didn't win at Bournemouth.
Yeah.
And Arsenal struggled to win at Luton. Yep. Some of these grounds are really hard places to go. So that could end up being a big point at Bournemouth. That really could be a big point.
And Bournemouth won again tonight.
They won 2-0, I think, yeah. And
they won away at Palace.
They're actually not a bad side. It's not a hard, an easy thing to do.
And they've got some good attacking threat, and they caused us some issues. But City didn't cause us any issues today, really.
I've never actually seen City so dead in attack for many years. I mean, on another day, who knows if Haaland scores one of those chances, then it could be a completely different story. But
it's not like we rode our luck.
No, we didn't.
We
dominated.
Storm.
We absolutely dominated, and we were talking at halftime in our group chat, just in disbelief how we hadn't actually scored. I was talking to Owen, who was at the game. He couldn't believe it was 0-0. And what I love is when we're going on the attack, and I think it was Peter Jury commentating. I think we had the Sky Sports commentating. In here he goes, Unai Emery has never had a 0-0, and we literally go up the other end and score a goal. So thank you very much. I thought it was going to be a commentator's curse the wrong way. End up being good for us. So yeah,
no, absolutely outstanding. Wow. I mean, I can't wait just to watch Villa on tour, watch all the videos, listen to all the podcasts, and just listen to everyone talking so great about us. It's such a. I mean, I just remember Barnsley away. Sheffield United, Rotherham, these kind of games when we were irrelevant. No one cared about us. No one, I talked to my mates who supported other Premier League clubs and they couldn't name a Villa player, back then, maybe Jack Grealish, but that was it. We were irrelevant. We were going nowhere. We almost went at bust, under Tony Zhao and to now it's just chalk and cheese. we're in the later stages of a European competition. We're top in the group. We're third in the league ahead of City. And like I said before, if we somehow beat Arsenal on Saturday, then people are going to have to start taking it seriously.
I think people are. I really think they are.
Well,
How can't you?
after tonight, they are, yes, and we fully deserve it. But if we were somehow to make it 15 in a row, and City, like you said, Arsenal, sorry, have looked a little vulnerable. They've been winning games, but Luton last night, they needed a 96-minute winner from Declan Rice. The last away game before that was Brentford, where they needed a 90th minute winner from Kai Havertz. Away from home, they're not exactly battering teams.
No, they're not. They're really not.
They have won 6 in a row or something like that. It's going to be a huge test, obviously, and hopefully everyone pulls up okay with injuries and fatigue and all that sort of stuff, and we can get something. I predicted a draw the other night.
You did.
I don't know if I should change that.
I don't think anyone got that score right. No, you can't change your prediction.
Okay. Well, I'll stay with a draw. I don't want to jinx anything.
Tommy got the City prediction right.
1-0. Well done, Tommy.
Right.
Well done, Tommy. Tommy's in Bali at the moment, so I hope you're having a great time over there with the missus.
Drinking cheap beers after watching the Villa win.
Enjoying some sun. Yeah, he's but just letting you know, like it was a 4:15 a.m. kickoff time over here in Perth. At 7:15 for you in Melbourne. Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking a little bit tired because I was up at before the crack of dawn, and but man, I'm just so full of energy now. Like I was tired. I had a coffee before we started, and sort of got myself up. But once the game kicked off, wow, it's just that I'm gonna put it out there. I think that is our best performance that I've seen, maybe since I was a kid, since the Ron Atkinson days.
I've never seen us play that well. I can't think of a time, and you just got to give so much credit to Unai Emery. I know we've spoken about it, but I tell you what, I can't wait. Actually, I'm going to be surprised what he does in January, because what do we need? I don't actually think we need to sign anyone.
I think we need a right back.
I think we need a backup right back.
Backup right back. That was an interesting, move from. I thought Cash would start because he didn't play against Bournemouth from the start. So Robert Olsen wasn't even on the bench, which was weird. I don't know if he's got an injury or not, but
I think his wife just had a kid, maybe.
Okay.
Was Marshall on? I never actually didn't check the bench. Was Marshall on the bench or something?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
And of course, Diaby didn't start. It was what I expected, which was Tielemans as that false nine. Yeah. And more of a sort of extra man in midfield.
We haven't really spoken about how well he played, Tielemans. He's kind of one player that we haven't really touched on, and he just does little things that you don't really notice. He does, but he's growing in confidence, isn't he? Oh. Like, he couldn't get into the team, and I know he got dropped for Bournemouth.
And a lot of people had written him off. A lot of fans had said he's done.
The apologies should be flooding into his DMs right now. And how do we have this team at the moment?
It just seems like every position we can just plug someone in, and they are perfect in terms of, the players that Emery has brought in, as well as the players that we already had. He just knows what the game needs, and who we're going to put in there, and gives them the instructions and they follow it. It's huge, and I'm getting messages as we speak from all my mates, like everyone. Just like people that aren't even Villa fans saying, "Wow, you guys are awesome! Love that." I cheered when that goal went in. This is huge because Man City have been the best team in the world, for a while now, maybe 2 or 3 seasons, and in my opinion, anyway, they are the European champions, the treble winners, and they are a fantastic football team. The 115 charges and all that, is another conversation. But on the pitch, they're
good.
They are.
I've only seen us beat them twice as a Villa fan. I think when Darren Bent scored at home in the 1-0 win in 2010.
There was a League Cup game we beat them under Lambert as well.
I was there, so
3-2.
3 times now.
So yeah, Gabby I think got a couple of goals and
Yeah, that's
Benteke
right.
on that day.
So
But yeah,
I've seen us beat City 3 times in
yeah.
my whole time
Oh,
as I can remember.
and that was before. That was like pre Guardiola City. So we've never beaten Guardiola City before, and well, we have now, ladies and gentlemen. Should we wrap up there? Because
I was going to say quickly on the support on the
yep.
last episode. We've made someone feel famous as well in the comments.
Yeah, Ken. Yeah, I'm glad that your missus, thinks you're famous, and
you're famous to us.
You are. You're a famous fan, and just make sure that she subscribes. Like she's part of the family too now. Get her on there. Make sure she clicks the bell, and it's just great to see that you guys are enjoying the podcast, in the kitchen while you're doing the washing up or whatever. It's fantastic. Well, I love stories like that. Any of you guys, have got any stories about this game, how you felt, where you watched it, what you did when Bailey's goal went in, put it in the comments, because that really helps our algorithm and all that and gets more people to check the video out. And we're riding high as a podcast. Villa are riding high as a team, and it's just unbelievable. So please, everyone, get behind us, and we love you all. Up the Villa. What a night. Woo. Third in the league. Come on, and we will see you after Arsenal. Up the Villa. Villa.